Pixar is known around the world for the lead in best animated movies in this modern time, and I 100% agree. They are a perfect blend of humor in characters and story. They are so accessible to anyone because they are good films that any age can enjoy. The most known ones and most favorites are Toy Story, Finding Nemo, and Monsters, Inc. Now, Monsters, Inc. stands out because it's the only one that doesn't have a sequel, which Pixar makes a lot of. The creators realized that even though it may be more marketable to make Monsters, Inc. 2, they decided to go the better route for the story. At the end of Inc., Mike and Sully discover that laughter gives more energy than fear. This solves majority of the problems in Inc., and then Mike helps rebuild the door to meet Boo. This story was completed. The only thing that people really wanted to know more about was how these two became such an incredible pair in friendship. That's when the idea of Monsters University fitted perfectly into continuing this amazing story. Before we begin, the YouTube statistics show that 85% of you are not subscribed, and apparently it's a lot higher than that now, as you can see. I'm almost to 100 subscribers, and I would be honored if you are one of the 150. It would mean a lot if you subscribed. The Monsters, Inc. sequel wasn't planned when Monsters, Inc. was made, which is remarkable to me how perfectly it fits in and how much it adds to the characters and world. MU takes a look in more of Mike's perspective this time, unlike in Inc. where it's more about Sully. From the beginning scene, Mike has always wanted to become a scarer and has dreamed of going to Monsters University. Now, this is a very interesting theme or location for a movie because usually in movies, school is an awful place and everyone is miserable there. This has been so overdone, and that was the thing that made me a little hesitant to even watch it. But once again, Pixar goes above and beyond and probably made the most realistic school experience I've ever seen in a children's movie. And they're monsters. The whole university isn't depressed and there aren't bullies in every single inch of the campus. But there are real legitimate problems in college, and I feel they are addressed in an unexaggerated way. There are rivals between frat houses. There is not being the scariest monster but works harder than anyone. There is Sully, who has a lot of pressure on him because he has to live up to his expectations of his parents. These are things that students have experienced or can relate to. This makes the emotional scenes so much more impactful because it feels real. These make the character's growth of Mike learning to use his strengths to his advantage and Sully not trying to live the expectations of his parents feel good and actually change in the character. All of these things add up to make such a more impactful experience. These changes to the characters are something we still see as a problem sometimes in Monsters, Inc., so it makes their problems seem real. So Pixar knocks it out of the park with a school theme. But it's not just because the school feels real, it's because of the culture. You feel that it's fall in the warm colors of the dorms and all the supplies the students bring around. It's such a cozy feel, and almost the whole movie being in one area, that's not an easy task to be done. And what is culture without music? Monsters, Inc. always had a jazz into it, but Monsters University adds sounds and instruments of a school band, creating a great persona around the whole place. The music brings the energy of the movie to life because the tone and the frequency throughout the movie is very similar to how school really is as a student. These things are why Pixar is so special and great at creating worlds and the culture within them. But how is this any different than all the other Pixar movies? What stands out? Even though this might seem obvious, the characters, but not just the characters, most of them were already made in Monsters, Inc., but the relationships between them. Mike, the enthusiastic and hard-working student, is involved with this rivalry between Sully in the beginning of the movie. They both have their reasons for trying to prove they are worth continuing the scaring program, and also they don't want to lose, which eventually makes them relate to each other in the scare games. Then they have to deal with Uzma Kappa in order to prove themselves. The relationship between Uzma Kappa and Mike is almost identical to Sully's relationship with Uzma Kappa. They start to relate and work together on this common goal, eventually creating a relationship between the two, but also a relationship with Uzma Kappa because of working together so hard. They found the strengths of the crew. And then in the final scene at the summer camp, it all pays off in a life or death situation where they have to scare good enough in order to survive. That dynamic between the two changes so much in a realistic way. But that's not just the main character's relationship that changes and is remarkable. There's Mike and Dean's heart scrabble, both trying to prove they know what they know. Mike and Roar Omega Roar, proving that you don't need to be the coolest and scariest monster to succeed in scaring. Sully and Roar Omega Roar, Sully trying to live up to his name but also wants to fit in and be cool. This is why Monsters University stands out to me, not only for great characters, but the amazing relationships between them. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'm so thankful for 100 subscribers. I will continue to post the high quality content that you enjoy. If you want me to do more film analysis videos, let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Roll, you and I.